4 seasons lost. And in Austin, I saw pause. My eyes crawled to a table. Paralyzed by pair-wise dice, then it is to this heavy slice of an angel wrapped in skin. Throw dice and woes of life. Love deprived, look at her eyes. What's the meaning of life? One subjected paradise, crystal chandeliers, moments reflected. All of the mirrors appear clear, ready for ear to ear. Craving the rain, rekindle the flame. Close as she draws near, stay there. Remove your underwear, shove it somewhere over there. In paradise, in paradise. We know I've heard this. In paradise, in paradise. We know I've heard this. In paradise, in paradise. We manifest.
Boom, boom. Yes, we do. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Unpopular Hour. Of course, I am your host, Matt Clark, and today we've got a good show. We're going to break down the Oklahoma City Thunder. Everybody's been beating me up. Well, not beating me up. Everybody's been asking me about Chet, what I thought about his performances, and on my Facebook. And so I said some things, and so I told them that I would give them the full breakdown on why my assessment is what it is. Basically the same assessment that I had before when I had talked about him and when I talked about Westbrook back in the day. Everybody got mad at me about that. Oh, you're just a hater. No, I'm just talking about what I see. And now years later, everybody go, hey, you're right. Yes, I know, because you got caught up in all the nonsense. I don't get caught up in the nonsense. It's either this or that. Either you are or you aren't. It has nothing to do with how I feel about you. I'm a Thunder fan. Why would I not want us to win? That's stupid. But when we do well, I say we do well. When we do bad, I say we do bad. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't come in between. I just break it down and let you know exactly how I feel and why. And if you're realistic and you're open, you will see that what I'm saying is facts, and I'm not trying to be harsh, and I'm just letting you know why I believe what I believe. And if you can come up with a legitimate argument other than you're mad at what I'm saying, then please, by all means, go to my Facebook, write something down, say something. I'll be more than happy to respond to it as well. And, of course, we'll be joined hopefully by my guy, Drew Henthorne of HuskerDrewPicks.com sometime today. He's in transition, moving from Omaha back to Oklahoma. So hope to have him on more often in person. So I'm looking forward to that. So as you can see, somebody's back here working on their game, putting the trash can up, shooting jump shots, being able to get around the jumpers or get around the trash can. It's not clearly what Chet cannot do. So that being said, let's get into it. First of all, I want to talk about the women's national team. They play tonight in the finals of Group A against Mexico tonight at 9 o'clock. They have already pre-qualified for the 2023 World Cup, which we talked about last week after their 5-0 victory over Jamaica. So we talked about that and how the women have come back and done that. And I still need to get me a women's shirt. I did not wear my men's shirt today simply because we're talking about women. We are not talking about the men's team, and we're talking about the women's team. And the men's team did qualify for the World Cup this year, which they did not do last year or 4 years ago. And I think the USA men's team is on the rise, and so I'm excited about both of our soccer men's and women's. But the question is, will the women be able to come back and retain their 2019 title, whether they'll be able to come back and retain that. So I'm hoping that the USA team, the women's team, will repeat as world champions, because to me they are the best team in the world. But there are some great teams out there they have to contend with. They've got to contend with Japan. They got to contend with Sweden. They've got to contend with the Germans and, of course, Brazilians and Italians. So the women's, it's not like it's just going to be easy for the women to retain their World Cup. They are going to have to fight for it. That being said, I want to welcome my guy, Drew Henthorne of HuskerDrewPicks.com. What's up, Big Ben?
Good afternoon. How we doing?
You sound like you're tired moving, bro.
Oh man, that's a young man's game. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you sound done, bro.
Back hurt, my feet hurt.
Yeah, how much longer you have left?
Man, I got quite a bit done this weekend. I still haven't loaded the truck yet, but the truck. I think the truck will be the easy part.
Uh-huh.
It's just getting it all out of the basement and into the garage and wrapped up and moved and
Well, you'll be back
not
this
any,
week, so that's a good thing, though, right?
yeah, not any fun, man. Not any fun. And there's no good sports on.
No,
Just
well,
baseball.
no, baseball, really. I mean, baseball, if you're certain people, you
If you're a
love
Braves
baseball.
fan,
Oh, here we go with the Braves. Here we go. Let's talk about the Braves already.
28-8 in the last 36 games. And then you know what? They start a 3-game set tonight. This could be your NLDS right here.
Oh, here we go. No, well, it might be, but
Braves Mets.
you know what? Are they going to get by the Mets, though?
Well, if they win tonight, they take over first place in the division and second best record in the league. So we'll see.
Behind who?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Hey,
we don't speak their name.
Hey, just checking, man. I just
the
asked a simple
evil
question.
empire. The evil
I just
empire.
asked a simple question, bro. I wasn't trying to get y'all fired up. I just asked a question, homie. No big deal. It's all
That's all
right.
right.
But hey, I saw a deal. I think it was Tim Kirchin today. Thinks that the AL East is going to have 5 to 6 teams in the playoffs. Do you think they can get that many in?
AL East. So they only have 5 teams, aren't they?
All 5 teams, yeah.
It's possible. I mean, Baltimore's probably your outlier. Baltimore's your outlier.
Well,
there.
they've won 8 straight.
Yeah. Let's see here. Playoffs.
Because you have the Yankees, the Red Sox, you have Toronto, you have the Baltimore, and is it Tampa Bay? Who is the 5th one?
You got let's see here. You got Yankees, Boston, Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Baltimore.
Okay,
and right now,
yeah, Tampa Bay, yeah.
Yankees and Boston are 2 of the top 4. Toronto's in the top 6. Baltimore's in the top 7. So
right. Yeah.
So all 5 are in the top 7. Very good possibility.
Yep. You have all 5, and then of course the Braves would want the weakest of those, which of course the Braves would finish second, so they would probably go against Toronto, maybe. And Toronto's
the Braves are in the National League. So.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, the Braves.
That's right. The Braves would lose to my Dodgers. That's right. I forgot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's you got Dodgers, Mets, and the same kind of thing in the National League East too. You got Dodgers, Mets, and with the Mets, Braves, Phillies, Miami, all 4 in the top 6.
Yes, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. There's 2 pretty good divisions right there: the National League East and the American League East.
Yeah, my deal is
your 2 best divisions.
I don't really watch baseball until the playoffs. I just don't. Mm-hmm. And I know the All-Star game is coming up, and and I don't think I'm watching as a home run derby, and it's really not as fun as it used to be. It seems like, I don't know. I just don't. Baseball I used to really love it, but I just can't even watch it unless I'm there live. I go to the Dodgers game here, which, we have a great park, which you and I still don't understand why the hell they took away the Big 12 championship, which is just asinine to me. I don't really understand that, but, whatever. It is what it is.
Right.
They're making such good decisions. They're going to be the 3rd conference. Okay, and speaking of that, I'm going to jump over to football real quick. So, if you look at it, Drew, it's going to be what? The SEC, the SEC, the Big Ten, and Big 12. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Is the Pac-12 even going to survive?
I don't know.
How.
They're going to have to. I wouldn't be surprised if you get the Pac-12 and the Big 12 merge somehow, and they get a super conference out of those two.
Well, they're looking at taking Washington, Oregon, Stanford. Well, I think Stanford would probably go to the Big Ten.
Yeah, and so will Cal.
Yeah, and Cal, yeah. And then the Big 12. Still they're going to be the third. They're going to be the third.
If you're the Big 12, you'd welcome Washington and Oregon.
Yep, big time.
And Oregon State.
Oregon State was Arizona. They won it because of basketball.
Oregon State's got a great baseball program. They're decent in basketball.
Well, but they didn't get included in that list that I saw.
Yeah.
And so,
well, you wouldn't think Oregon would leave without Oregon State, but
OU left without OSU.
Yeah, it's Sooner fans, though. That's Sooners. They, above the law.
Yeah, but I mean, I just don't think.
They're above the fray. They
Well,
can do what
what?
they want.
Well, that's what I would see. My problem was I said Washington State and Oregon State were not included. So what I thought was interesting, or Arizona State. So I'm going,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so you're leaving the state schools out and you're only taking the regular schools. I
You
thought
know
that
what?
was interesting.
Washington State could very easily join the WAC and get in there with Boise State and San Jose States and all those
Yeah,
schools.
which is where
Probably.
they belong, probably,
Yeah, probably.
realistically. I
Yeah,
mean,
realistically, that's
yeah, that's
probably
where they
right.
belong. I mean, I don't. They would get killed in the pack. Due to the Big 12, they don't even have a basketball
Mm-hmm.
team that's consistent, nor baseball. So why would they? Why would you include them? Now Arizona, I can completely see in the Pac-12
Well,
as a
Arizona's
basketball
got good baseball and basketball.
and basketball.
The
And
football's just terrible.
football's terrible, but Arizona State is better in football than they are, so that would help you
Yeah.
with that. But I just sit there and look at it. I think, man, these super conferences. But Notre Dame, somebody was telling me, oh, Notre Dame would go to the SEC. I said Notre Dame's going to go to the Big Ten because they're right there. That's dumb. You got Ohio, you got Michigan. They're in Indiana. You're right there. Why would you go over here? That made no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, does that make sense to you? Why Notre Dame would go to the SEC?
Well, I mean, Notre Dame staying in the Big Ten, or they don't go at all, or they just stay independent.
Right.
Because if the SEC doesn't make a big deal out of it, and then what difference does it make? Because really, it's SEC and the Big Ten.
Right, because they're in the ACC partially now.
Yeah, and basketball and baseball.
Yeah, well, I think football. Then they have to play 4. They have to play 4 games or something in the SEC.
I think something like that. Yeah.
Something dumb. They really weren't committed, but I just think
what's crazy is I was listening to the SEC today on radio, and I'm driving around earlier, and they were talking about North Carolina joining the SEC and about how that just wrecks the ACC. If they leave that conference, it's done.
I'm sorry, everybody. I had another power surge.